So hello there, welcome to Damien's Trains and Travels and welcome to the video. And in this video I'll be talking about the Hornby Percy in the Clockwork range that Hornby did from the 1980s up till 2003 when they were discontinued. And as you can see on the back of this box, this one was made in 2001, and it also shows you the other ones you can get in the range. So you've got Bill and Ben, Thomas, Toby, and then Annie and Clarabelle and the Troublesome Trucks. Obviously Thomas, Percy and the engines all Clockwork, so they've come with a key and it shows you the key underneath them. Annie, Clarabelle and the Troublesome Trucks aren't motorised, obviously, they're pulled by the engine, so it doesn't show the key beneath them. It's weird, it says wind up there, but then if you look in the corner it says Clockwork, and in my mind this is Clockwork. And as you know, I collect a number of things that are Clockwork as well. I've always had an interest in Clockwork toys, I think it's fair to say, from quite a young age. And again, as you've seen in my other videos, I keep a number of things in the boxes, and I've decided to keep this one in the box, so I won't actually be showing this one running in this video like I do most of my other Hornby reviews. And this year it's quite a special year, so obviously it's the 1st of November now. Hopefully I'll get the video up by today. You can see, if you click on show more beneath the video, you can see the date of when I uploaded it. But it's 1st November today, so last month would have been 10 years since I uploaded my first review. And the first review was on Bachmann in the Underground Ernie range. But it was also 10 years since the first Hornby Thomas review, because it was 10 years ago that I started doing my reviews on my Hornby engines and Bachmann ones as well. And my first Hornby one in the Thomas range was actually on Stepney, and Stepney's always been one of my favourite characters and a very good model. In a couple of days' time it will be 10 years since I uploaded the Hornby Murdoch review, and Murdoch was one of my more favourite characters, and that's actually the most popular out of the reviews that I've done of my Hornby engines. Again, if you go into playlists you can see that I've categorised all my videos and put them in orders, like with the Hornby background reviews and different railways that I've been to and all that, so they're all in different categories and a bit more organised. So like I said, it's been 10 years since I've been doing my reviews. And also, it's strange how in 10 years a lot of things have changed. Obviously, I spoke about Hatton's, the model railway shop, and 2 years after I'd done that, Hatton's ended up moving location, and then this year it closed down completely altogether, which I think is a bit of a shame. And I was sort of surprised in a way, but at the same time, the way things are, obviously, with cost of living and that for people, it didn't surprise me entirely as well. I think particularly since I've been doing it, I've noticed the prices have got quite extortionate on a lot of models. I mean, Hornby's got a lot more competitions now because other shops are making their own stuff as well, and there's other companies and that are making model railway stuff as well, so there's a lot more competition. And also, 20 years ago, the Ertl range was discontinued, and as you know, I collected the Thomas Ertl range and again a number of other things. And in my opinion, Ertl was one of the best ranges of the Thomas range, and I think definitely if you compare sort of the toys and the models I've reviewed in the past to a lot of the stuff that's out now, I think a lot of the stuff that when I was growing up, in my opinion, was a lot better than what there is now, really. So I think it's a bit of a shame that Ertl's gone, but I've been collecting them, keeping them in boxes, and then I got some out of the boxes as well. And it was 10 years ago really that I started to do my reviews and do videos about what I wanted to do, so filming railways and that. And I saw other people doing reviews, and I just thought it'd be nice to do my own ones. And I look back at some of my reviews now and wish that there was stuff that I'd either mentioned or done differently. But at the same time, I was new to it and that as well, when I sort of added my own sort of touch to it. And again, I think the great thing about this, being on YouTube as well, is it's made I've gone to a lot more places and seen a lot of trains and things that I never imagined that I'd see, and not just railways, but say I've been to no end of places of interest. I think you'll find as well if you look at my videos as well. So I've really enjoyed editing these videos together and going to lots of different places, and again showing you my collections of things as well. And also I can't believe it's been 10 years since I did my first sort of review really, and I think it was from then really I started getting more subscribers and more views on my videos and things like that as well. So I think definitely doing videos that you're passionate about helps your channel as well. And I've discovered that other people are into what I'm into as well, which is quite nice. And it's also nice when people comment and say that their videos and they think my videos are nostalgic and it reminds them of their childhood and things like that as well, which I suppose in a way I wasn't trying to be like anyone or anything, but I was trying to make it sort of nostalgic and that, and people say that they like it and it's nostalgic and a British sort of thing as well, which I like as well. And again, when I first started doing reviews, obviously Percy has been in every single series of Thomas the Tank Engine from the model series, and I like the face on this model of Percy in Hornby. It captures his face quite well from the TV series, and Percy went on to be in the CGI series, and at the time it was the CGI series, and I remember saying in my reviews I wasn't as keen on the CGI animated series, and I'm still not that keen on it now. But then also, now, since 6 years since I did that video, obviously 6 years after that video, Thomas has now become 2D animated, which I think is even worse, and I think it completely takes away the charm of the show. And although I didn't like the CGI series, I think it was sort of heading in the right direction with more characters coming back. And again, since I started doing my reviews, lots of characters have come back to the show that had been absent for a while, and I felt like it was sort of going somewhere. But now it's become 2D animated, I think it's sort of lost its charm in a way, really. And again, when I was younger, there were lots of different shows that I used to enjoy watching, and not all of them were made with like stop motion, made out of plasticine and things like that. But like Thomas, they were made out of models, and there was lots of different shows on. Like now, it seems to be every single show that I watched in my childhood has become CGI animated in one way or another. And the only thing that hasn't really changed is the shows that Aardman Animations produce, so like Wallace and Gromit. And also, Aardman Animations have recently said that they're going to be making more episodes of Pingu as well. And Pingu wasn't. I did like Pingu when I was younger, don't be wrong, but it wasn't my most favourite show, but it was one that I still liked. And so that's coming back and will be made out of like plasticine stop motion. And again, when I was on holiday, I don't watch much TV nowadays compared to what I used to. I mean, I work most of the time now, but when I had on holiday recently, I had the TV on, and I noticed that there was a whole TV channel and it was showing Shaun the Sheep episodes back to back. So I think it proves that, you know, in this day and age, yeah, we've got all computers and things like that, but, you know, stop motion is still as popular as it was before. And I think with stop motion, things like Shaun the Sheep, it has, you know, and Wallace and Gromit, it's got so much more of a charm about it. And I can't find it now, but on social media I saw a post, someone saying about the new Wallace and Gromit movie that's coming out, saying, you know, can we be thankful that someone's actually going to the effort of making a stop motion, which is obviously made frame by frame, so obviously it takes a lot of work in this day and age when we've got computers. And I agree the final product is, you know, great, and I'm looking forward to the new Wallace and Gromit film that's coming out. But going back onto this model of Percy, like I said, I think it's a great model and everything. And the wheels I've got the electric Percy as well. And again, obviously on the back you've got the other characters like Bill and Ben and Toby. And Toby, Bill and Ben and Percy have all got one thing in common, and that's the fact that they're all scratch built. So a lot of the characters that were made in the Thomas Hornby range when Hornby were making them used tooling and like the moulds from other locomotives, but like I said, there wasn't any for Toby, Percy and Bill and Ben or anything, so they scratch built them. And Hornby recently have made their own sort of models using Percy's mould. And again, Bill and Ben, although I like them, they're far too large, whereas the Bachmann ones are a lot better. They've got the scale of them a lot better. And Bill and Ben were actually really small engines in real life, based upon Alfred and Judy. And Rapido Trains, which is another model railway company, is actually making models of them as well. So they're a lot more accurate in size. And again, in the railway series, Bill and Ben were a lot smaller than the other engines, and in the TV series. So I prefer the Bachmann ones in that sense, because I think they've got the scales on a lot better. And I've also got Toby in the Bachmann range, and I've got him in the Hornby range as well. But again, with Bill and Ben and Toby, they were so large that, you know, particularly when I took them down to Wellingborough Museum, where I run my trains sometimes, they were so big that it was hard to get them past the platform and under certain bridges and that, because of how wide they were, whereas the Bachmann ones you don't get that problem. And with the Hornby Percy you didn't really get that problem either. And again, I've got Percy in the Bachmann range as well a few years ago, and I think that one's a lot better, like if you compare it to the TV series, because again I think with the Bachmann models they were sort of more aimed at what the engines looked like in the TV series, whereas the Hornby ones were more the railway series, although like I said, Percy and Bill and Ben and Toby were all scratch built, so I think they were more based upon the TV series, to be fair. But one thing I will say is, though, I think that the face on the Bachmann Percy, for me, I find it a little bit sort of creepy, really. It doesn't look much like Percy's face, whereas I think, again, the one on the Hornby model is a lot better. Looks just like Percy's face in the TV series. Another thing I think as well where Hornby went wrong, particularly on this model, is on the running board of Percy, it's been painted green when it should be like white, grey, like it is in the TV series. But when Percy come back, and it's weird because when I done my reviews 10 years ago, Hornby discontinued the Thomas range, and then in January the following year, 2015, they announced they were bringing the range back. And when they brought Percy back and a number of the other ones back, they changed the colours on them a bit, and Percy had a grey-white running board like he should do, so he looks a lot better in that sense. But I mean, when I was younger, I noticed that a lot of the colours on the Hornby ones were not accurate, but to me, they were still, it was still Percy, it was still Duck, or whatever the engine was. The colour didn't really bother me too much. I think when you're younger, you don't really know. You do notice, but particularly me, I did notice that not all the colours were correct, but it's when you're younger, you look at it more as a toy, really. And for me, I got hours of enjoyment, just having them on the train set, just watching them run around and pulling different trains and things like that. So for me, it wasn't all about the detail when I was younger. Obviously now I'm in my 30s, and you look at things and you think that's not very accurate and that sort of thing. We can all be critical, but at the end of the day, from a child's perspective, it's still Percy at the end of the day. I do really like this one. Like I said, the box is slightly damaged, but this was made in 2001, so it's now 23 years old, and after all that time, it's hard to find things absolutely immaculate in the box. And the only one I haven't got in the Clockwork range is Toby. Well, like I said, I have got the Hornby one, and I'm in the Bachmann range, but I'd probably only really buy it if it was still in the box. I mean, I got myself quite lucky to really get Percy and Bill and Ben in these boxes, and last year, I think I mentioned them in another video, sorry if I didn't, but I did actually buy some Clockwork sets, and they're all sort of packed away at the minute, but hopefully next year I'm going to start doing more reviews and that. I mean, I tend to do a lot of my reviews, during like the winter period, really, when it's not quite as nice weather outside and there's not much to do outside and there's not any railway cars on. And that's the thing as well, since I've been doing this channel, I've been going to a lot more railways and out on the main line seeing stuff as well. And I think initially I was always only really passionate about steam trains. I guess in a way, I do prefer steam trains, but I've gotten to like diesels as well whilst making these videos as well. And another thing as well is this year, obviously, so it's 20 years since Ertl was discontinued, 10 years since I started doing my reviews, but then also this year it's 40 years since the TV series of the show of Thomas the Tank Engine first came out. Obviously it was based upon the books originally. But I went to Drayton Manor last month and I saw a number of the models and props that were used in the TV show, and it was made using models. And a lot of them were a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be, particularly Spencer. And I was glad I got to see Spencer, as he's one of my favourite characters. And also Dennis the Diesel. I like Dennis, and I think it's a shame he didn't appear more. And again, Tiger Moth's model was there, and I think it's a shame Tiger Moth didn't really get to, although Tiger Moth did appear in the background, didn't get much of a sort of a leading role. And I think as well, with Thomas the Tank Engine, I found that quite frustrating as the series went on. It became, obviously lots and lots of characters got introduced, but then they started only focusing on about 8 of the characters, and a lot of the other characters I felt got forgotten about, really, unfortunately. But it was always great to see their models and that there anyway. And again, if you look at this model of Percy that I've got, his side rods are different to what they were during the TV series of the show. And also the wheels are a bit different. Obviously, the other ones are metal, these are like plastic. But there is some special track that these ones do go on as well, which I'll discuss about when I do my Clockwork reviews, and I've got the different types of track that they run on as well. So I look forward to showing you them in the future, the Clockwork sets that I've got. But I do think this is a great little model of Percy, and I think I'd give him a 8.5 out of 10, because I think it's a nice model, but it's not quite there to give it a 10 out of 10, detail wise, but at the same time it's quite nice as well. And also as well, I think I was born in the wrong era, because unfortunately Meccano made one, and I quite like Meccano. I had a few Meccano things when I was younger, and they made one with Percy in it, but unfortunately I never got that one, and that's probably quite rare now, unfortunately. And that was more based upon the Railway series before the TV series came out. That would have been a nice set to have got, but never know, maybe one day I'll see one. But I always look round and maybe one day I'll find it. But I'm quite happy with this one for the time being in my other collection. And thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.